diagnostic. Okay. Yes, this supports effective implementation of the revenue enhancement action plans aligned to the tax administration diagnostic tool, TADAT standards. KRA has invested heavily in IT infrastructure to support the 4 pillars of compliance, that is registration, filing, payment, and reporting. To enhance compliance, Kenya School of Revenue Administration, in cooperation with the International Monetary Fund's TADAT Secretariat, African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF, and the Commonwealth Association of Tax Administration, CATA, has put in place a framework that entails capacity building, exchange of information, technical assistance, and benchmarking with the 9 tax administrations in Africa, including their respective subnational tax administration. Part of the wider scope of this initiative is offering of the TADAT training course at KESRA. The collaboration will be continuous and sustainable exercise, which in the long run contributes greatly to the reform agenda in tax administration within the region. The legislative framework in Kenya, especially the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Public Finance Management, PFM reforms, and KRA Acts and previous revenue acts underscore the need for revenue enhancement action plans that are aligned to excellent revenue administration practices. In this regard, we are proud to have on board the Office of the Controller of Budget and Kenyan Council of Governors, who are part of this training, which will enhance our ability to manage national resources more effectively. In the case of revenue administration, the TADAT diagnostic assessment provides the opportunity to brainstorm, innovate, and develop new approaches to the county government capacity building. KRA appreciates TADAT Secretariat, ATAF, the participating tax authorities, and the development partners for this collaboration, and specifically the staff capacity building initiative. We look forward to a successful and impactful program over the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Simon Kaloki.
Thank you very much, Simon, for those insightful words. I would now like to give the floor to Uganda to make their opening remarks. I would like to call on the representative from URA. Thank you.
The Chief of Party, TADAT Secretariat of the IMF, the ATAF representatives, the United Nations Capital Development Fund representatives, members of the respective revenue authorities, members of the respective local governments, fellow participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I bless God for the launch of this pertinent regional TADAT training program for senior management. We as Uganda Revenue Authority are privileged to be part of this program that brings together the regional authorities and the local governments. The training is very much aligned to our vision of being a transformational revenue service for Uganda's economic development and independence. This economic independence of our nation can only be achieved through strategic partnerships, especially with the leaders at both the national and local governments. On behalf of Uganda Revenue Authority, I want to sincerely appreciate the IMF TADAT Secretariat and ATAF for their great contribution and the critical role they play in building capacities of the different revenue administrations across the region and globally. In particular, I appreciate this training that has been organized for the tax administration diagnostics assessment tool for the partner states with Ghana and Somalia included. I also appreciate the training of several of our URA staff that has happened over time, which has greatly contributed to improvement of the effectiveness and efficiency of our revenue administration. Furthermore, several tax reforms have been institutionalized as a result of TADAT assessments conducted at the national and subnational levels. We further appreciate the United Nations Capital Development Fund that has partnered with IMF and ATAF to build capacity in the use of TADAT at the subnational levels of the respective countries that are participating in this training. I've been ably informed that this regional program is the first of its kind, bringing together senior leaders of the revenue authorities and local governments across Africa to learn and share experiences that will guide the tax reforms to be adopted in their respective countries. This, therefore, is an opportunity to leverage and reinforce our strategic partnerships and ensure transformation of the tax administrations across Africa. I and my fellow Ugandan participants are therefore looking forward to an exciting learning experience and engaging with our counterparts in the region over the next 2 weeks. We are committed to adopting the international good practice and enhancing our reform agenda that addresses the identified areas of improvement that will ensure the quantum realization of the vision of this authority. I thank you for God and my country. I'm John Musinguzi, the Commissioner General of Uganda Revenue Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Musinguzi. I hope I pronounced that well.
Perfectly well, thank you.
Thank you very much for those remarks, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us on this platform to provide us with those insightful remarks. I would now like to give the opportunity to the Commissioner General of the Rwanda Revenue Authority, Mr. Ruganintwali, to please take the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Samira. Mr. Justin Zake, TADAT Secretariat, Madam Samira, ATAF representative, my fellow CGs and DCGs present in this training, senior management members of revenue administration here, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by wishing you all a wonderful and prosperous 2020. It is my pleasure, 2022. It is my pleasure to be here with you today in this TADAT training session organized by TADAT and ATAF for senior management teams in the respective tax administration of the East African countries and Ghana together with the local governments, authorities, management teams. Let me take this opportunity to laud the TADAT Secretariat, ATAF, and the rest of the organizing committee that have coordinated their efforts to make this training a reality. I believe with no doubt that all beneficiaries from this training will be elevated in how they view and approach taxation in comparison to international good practices. For us at the RRA, TADAT has become a parallel benchmarking tool ever since we were exposed to it from the first training and subsequent assessment in 2015. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, RRA highly values and promotes staff knowledge of the TADAT framework. As such, we have extended the official TADAT training to around 28 staff through engagements with the TADAT Secretariat, This number excludes other staff who have been encouraged to pursue the TADAT online courses. To further develop TADAT capacity, we have developed an internal team of TADAT assessors who regularly assess our institution using techniques, methods, and methodology of the TADAT field guides. I'm proud to say that we have seen consistencies in the result from the internal and external performance assessment reports. This is a good indication that we are also strengthening and contributing to the pool of future TADAT assessors. The insights from the TADAT assessments of relative performance of our tax administration and the reform priorities driven therefrom have been integral in our new operating model. The new operating model is a restructuring of the tax administration to be more responsive to stakeholder needs while making the institution an employer of choice. One of the key highlights of the new operating model informed by TADAT is the shift from the structural to functional demarcation of offices. Going forward, ladies and gentlemen, we and the entire RRI management intend to build on the benefits realized from the TADAT framework by continuing to assess ourselves against good international practices while implementing corrective action of the identified gaps. Expand TADAT training opportunity to more staff and other stakeholders in the taxation sphere, such as local government administrators. Expand the pool of internal assessors and prepare staff for opportunities outside the tax administration. Undertake routine TADAT-like assessment possibilities beyond domestic tax to include customs and revenue protection domain. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by reiterating my appreciation to the TADAT Secretariat, the management of ATAF, and the entire team of the coordination team in this framework for their efforts in organizing this training. I wish the best to all participants with the hope that knowledge obtained will be used to improving our respective tax administrations. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, CG, and we appreciate your contribution to this program as well. Thank you very much. I would like to give an opportunity to Kenya, the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes, to just say a few words in place of Tanzania, as they have sent through their apologies. They will not be joining the program launch this morning, but they will definitely be joining the training later on. So in place of that, I would like to give the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes just a minute or two to say a few words from KRA. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Samira, ITAF representative. The CG is present. All protocols observed. Good morning, everyone. Rispa Simiyu is my name, Commissioner Domestic Taxes, KRA. Mine is to appreciate the opportunity to actually be part of this engagement, and I think very worthy because it has been a long journey, and especially focusing on African countries at senior leadership level. And I think the important thing is that we all continue to be aligned. Allow me to speak of remarks, because I think our representative for today was the Commissioner Kesra. So mine is to just appreciate the team for organizing this, for bringing us together. We look forward to a meeting of minds. We look forward to greater engagement actually in the coming couple of weeks. And I think at the end of it all, we come out better people, because sometimes then we do appreciate that some of these are conversations that we continue to have in the course of our duties and on a day-to-day basis. But I think as we come together from different organizations, sharing our experiences, comparing notes, then we come out better people and we're able to carry out our respective assignments in the best way we know how. So I do appreciate this time. Thank you also for the opportunity to just give a few remarks, and I look forward. Much appreciated. And I think I should have started by saying Happy New Year to all, and we look forward to a fantastic year ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, and we are very privileged to have you here, so welcome and thank you. I will now give the floor to Ghana to make their opening remarks. Welcome, and you may go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody, distinguished personalities present in this session, course facilitators, especially the Secretariat, course participants, my colleagues from the Ghana Revenue Authority, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to all of you. My name is Julie SCM, and I am the Commissioner for Support Services at Ghana Revenue Authority. And I take the opportunity to bring you greetings from the leadership and Commissioner General of the Authority. Secretariat and ladies and gentlemen, what a great pleasure and really a privilege for us at the Ghana Revenue Authority to be part of this very, very important program as participants, and also to be given the opportunity to kickstart this all very important training. We are very grateful to the TADAT Secretariat. As we all know, the role of revenue authorities, irrespective of jurisdiction, is pivotal and fundamental to the development of any nation. Revenue authorities, therefore, have been established, as we know, to identify taxpayers, assess and collect revenue, and also to administer and enforce laws pertaining to revenue. Clearly, this role, without doubt, remains imperative, and therefore the success of the work of these revenue authorities is paramount. It is against this backdrop that the International Monetary Fund designed this TADAT assessment tool to help all of us provide objective assessment of the health of the key components of a country's tax administration's structures, systems, and processes. Many countries have developed many management reforms to aid revenue collection. It must be noted that in this critical period of the life of all our nations, tax reforms which are responsive to the needs of every country remains crucial. And therefore, the TADAT training is geared towards enhancing the capacity of participants and all of us to provide critical roles to our countries in tax reforms. And will also provide participants and all of us the opportunity, again, with 150 people on this call and in this training to learn from each other. Equally important, it will also strengthen collaboration among participants and boost regional reforms for the achievement of optimal tax to GDP ratios of our respective countries. In this regard, I encourage all of us as participants to embrace the training fully and learn as much as we can. Although it's online, I know that through our interactions, we'll be able to pick up best practices and learn from each other. The COVID-19 pandemic, as we all know, has taught us all useful lessons. Among them is the notion of self-reliance of each of our countries. As most developed economies have also been significantly impacted by the pandemic, the regular flow of donor funds to our economies will significantly decrease. And therefore, the ability of our nations to run an effective and efficient revenue authority, or authorities for that matter, remains highly imperative. Our traditional ways of raising revenue have become non-reliable and old-fashioned. Innovation and creativity shall continue to serve us as the basis of our tax reforms. I do take this opportunity again to wish all of us participants the best with the program today and beyond, because today will not end this program. It will also foster relationships between all of us for continued dialogue, continued engagement. And all of us at the Ghana Revenue Authority, including my colleagues who are participants on this program, pledge our support for this very important program. Thank you so much again. And again, I take this opportunity to wish all of us an amazing and outstanding 2022 and beyond. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Julie. And as you can see from all the previous speakers, including the CGs, the value of the TADAT is very much well appreciated within all of the tax administrations, and you can see that the focus is on improving efficiency and effectiveness of revenue administrations in Africa, and to bring them in line with international best standards. So with those few words, I would like to then invite, I think it's the UNCDF representative in Somalia to make opening remarks for Somalia, if I'm not mistaken. Or is there a Somalia representative for Somalia?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Let me try just to switch on my camera. Yes, I'm program management specialist for UNCDF Somalia. I'm not sure if you can see me on the screen, but let me just welcome the participants of the training across all the countries that are participating in this very, very exciting opportunity, very exciting learning experience. But dear participants, the next 5 days, I believe, will be very exciting and interesting, as well as very intensive. You will have a very good opportunity not only to learn new things, but to try out the things, as the course has a lot of practical exercises, exams, and at the end you will have to do exam to pass through the course and receive your certificate. And you will get the opportunity to get not only new skills that bring you to a new level, you will see how the tax administration will have more and deeper meaning for you, as well as understanding the good tax administration is critical to secure microeconomic stability for any country. And I believe my colleague from Ghana has said how the COVID pandemic impacted the tax administration across many countries, developing and developed. So learning the tools of the tax administration, diagnostic and assessment will help you to seek new innovative ways how you can improve tax administration in your respective countries. Collecting and accounting revenue is very crucial to finance public services that support wider social objectives. And tax administration is a major interface between the state and its citizens. Building a fair and professional tax administration is that what UNCDF is trying to do in Somalia, and it is a very important part of the wider state building. And this entails developing trusted and effective institutions more generally. I myself, I had done this training in last year, and what I personally learned from the training is that TADAT is suitable and can be suitable for any country, regardless of the development and income level. This tool can and should play an important role in contributing to domestic resource mobilization. And don't be scared. TADAT is not a rocket science, but yet it has to be conducted by well-qualified and experienced specialists. So I urge participants to set a time and dedicate their time and efforts to do well in the training and to do well in a final exam. And by participating in this training, participants will express their full commitment in playing a role, very important role, in improving countries' economies and performances on domestic revenue mobilization. I believe that we all have an important role in this. The participants are now at the very beginning of an exciting journey. So what is needed for success is continuing practicing, learning well, and aiming to establish strong collaboration between all those interested in this area. And this will allow to make a difference in improving revenue collection. So allow me to wish everyone good luck in upcoming training and practicing the gained knowledge. And looking forward for your success stories. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Bob. And I really liked the way you phrased it, and you said that the TADAT is suitable for any country, regardless of their developmental level. So, and that is very much true. Thank you very much for your words. And I would now like to invite Dr. Margaret Nyakango, who is going to make remarks in representing the local authorities. You are welcome, Dr. Margaret.
Good morning, Samir, and thank you very much. But right from the beginning, I would like to clarify that I'll not be talking on behalf of local authorities, but that local authorities are indeed my clients. We don't call them local authorities in Kenya, we call them counties, because we have a devolved form of government. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It is indeed my great pleasure to be with you. It is my great pleasure to be with you all in this important training for senior managers. I would like to recognize all the sponsors, the facilitators, and my fellow trainees from all the participating countries. The Office of the Control of Budget in Kenya is an oversight independent office mandated to authorize all withdrawals from public funds after being satisfied that the withdrawals are within the law. Further, the Control of Budget is mandated to oversee budget implementation for both national and county governments, and further to report on the implementation of the budgets every 4 months to both houses of parliament as well as to the county governments. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that budgets are of necessity made up of incomes and expenditures. Control of budget implementation therefore involves the monitoring of revenues and how they are utilized. The TADAT training will equip my office to make assessments of the revenues using internationally accepted methodologies, which is expected not just to standardize the way revenues are collected, but also how they are accounted for. TADAT, indeed, will provide a clear assessment framework on how decisions regarding revenues are made. The mandate of my office is very much concerned about transparency and accountability. I believe that the TADAT training will enhance this, as these are the values that are essential to everyone in today's world. Transparency requires that my office collects information and makes it available and accessible for public scrutiny. Accountability, on the other hand, also requires that our stakeholders, and here I'm talking of the revenue collectors, do what is expected of them and show evidence of the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to be part of this training. I've already had 2 of my staff trained in TADAT, and I'll be sending more after I successfully complete my training. Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, Dr. Margaret. And yeah, it has to be noted that the need for TADAT is growing substantially within subnational governments as well, as the value of the TADAT can also be seen in how it also improves their efficiency and effectiveness. And several counties within Kenya have already done the TADAT. So thank you very much for your words. And I would now like to invite Mr. Joel Mundwa from the UNCADF to make his opening remarks. Mr. Joel, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, Samira. I'm just going to express a few words of thanks and invite Dr. Dimitri Pozdav, the UNCDF Head of Office for Uganda, is in charge of UNCDF in the region and is the global advisor for local government finance to make official remarks on behalf of UNCDF. But allow me in a few words thank the colleagues here, TADAT Secretariat, colleagues from Kenya, Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, I hope Somalia, and thanks for Somalia at last minute you were able to make it for making this possible. And where Margaret stops is where I wanted to make a few comments that she is completing her training and then bring in a few more colleagues from our office. Now that's the spirit here. We, the leaders, the managers, I think we need to understand what this is, and then we'll be able to help more and guide more effectively. I underwent that training, and I became a champion and a friend of TADAT, and I'll always promote TADAT. I'm happy to note that the number of partners here interested in the subnational picture. Margaret is a big fan, and Local Government Finance Commission, I saw Adam around, is also a big fan of the subnational picture. So friends, this is a priceless opportunity in form of a framework for assessment from IMF, TADAT Secretariat. Thanks so much to Mr. Zake for this. And really, I know we've over the years made progress in our tax GDP ratio over the years, great progress, but we are not yet there. Africa-wide, I think we're still at about 16%, 16.6 there percent. Uganda, we're still down at 12. Kenya, you're still around 17. Now the subnational picture is, you don't want to discuss it yet. It's very, very low, very, very low. So we need TADAT to help us make very responsive policies. You need to have practical evidence-based policies, evidence-based plans if we are to get out of the current picture. So, and thanks that we've got good response, and we're still having more senior managers joining. And for me, this is a great success. And a special thanks to URA for really, I don't know, we sit in Uganda, Mr. Zake knows, but they have been really helping coordinate this in these early years. And I want to say thanks and wishing you a great, great training ahead. And this is not the end, this is just the beginning of a huge, huge journey we intend to walk together. Allow me to invite my country director and our global advisor, Dimitri, to make official remarks on behalf of UNCDF. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joel, for these introductory remarks. And I would like to welcome on behalf of the UN Capital Development Fund, as well as on behalf of our partners, the IMF TADAT Secretariat and the African Tax Forum, all the senior management who are present at this meeting. I do hope, like all other participants, that this training will be a great contribution to improving tax administration practices in your respective countries, and it will help all of us to achieve better development results. Allow me to explain some background to this initiative. It is a joint initiative between the IMF TADAT Secretariat, ATAF, and UNCDF that is trying to address the two interrelated issues which Joel and some of you have already mentioned. That challenge is achieving or creating fiscal governments at both the national and local levels in your respective countries. And when we are talking about a fiscal government, we mean a government that is financially self-sustainable, that uses a variety of income sources to be able to finance local development. It has already been mentioned that Africa, with its 17% of tax to GDP ratio, compares very unfavorably to the average tax to GDP ratio in the developed countries, which is around 34%. So there is quite a big gap, and a lot of what can be achieved by improving tax administration. But the opportunity is even bigger at the local level. Some tax revenue potential research, which was conducted for a number of developing economies and emerging economies, indicates that about 40% of local governments are collecting 5 times below their revenue potential. And another 30% are collecting 3 times below their revenue potential. So this is a huge opportunity, a huge gap, but also a significant challenge. And if we can improve revenue collection at the local level as well as at the central level by this much, that would really be transformational for the economies of the country. And of course, this needs to be done in very close partnership between the central and local level. And I'm very happy to see from the exchange in the chat box that we have a very good mix of people coming from revenue authorities, representatives of different levels of local governments, representatives of other institutions, such as the Office of the Controller of the Budget, for example, in Kenya, who are involved in one way or another in tax administration. As UNCDF, we are trying to support application of TADAT diagnostic. But even more importantly, I would say, we are trying to take our partner countries and partner local governments beyond the diagnostic itself. I spoke just a few days ago with the director of budget in one of Kenyan counties, which was TADAT assessed about a year ago. And it was a very frank discussion. They appreciate a lot the diagnostic, they appreciate a lot the advice that they received as a result of that assessment. But when we asked what has happened since that, what have you done? The answer was, well, to be frank with you, not much. And this is where I think the critical link is not there. And we as UNCDF are trying to establish that critical link between the recommendations and the results and their translation into practical activities. We have started working with a number of our local government partners in Uganda, in Kenya, just to give you a few examples, on their revenue enhancement action plans. So that
Sorry, I would like to ask you to wrap up because we're running a bit late. So if you can wrap up in the next minute, please. Thank you.
Sure, Samira. So that we can translate the recommendations into very specific actions and work together with you on implementation of those actions. So this is the challenge. And as you undertake this training in the next few days, I would like to invite you to look beyond that and also think about how you can practically use this knowledge and what you can do in practice. And of course, UNCDF, together with our partners, are there to continue this work with you. All the best.
Thank you very much, Dimitri, and thank you for sharing those experiences. And you are absolutely correct. that there needs to be a continuation of the TADAT training and TADAT assessment after the actual assessment has actually taken place, so that we ensure that we implement some of those changes that are required within the counties, within the revenue administrations, etc. So thank you very much. And with those few words, I would like to now, it's my pleasure actually to invite Mr. Justin Zake, who is the head of the TADAT Secretariat. Welcome, Mr. Zake, and you are welcome to take the platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samira. You know, when people start talking about TADAT and they're very passionate about it, they go on and on and on. But Dimitri, yeah, I see the passion from all of you. I've been introduced. I'd like to welcome all the senior leaders of the revenue administrations represented in this workshop and wish you the best for 2022. Also the organizers, it has been a long road and the seed was sown for a regional Africa-wide approach, and I'm glad that the commitment and hard work of all is paying off. You've all heard good practices are very important, and this is what TADAT espouses. And when you implement good practices in coordination with each other, the revenue will flow. The revenue will be a consequence of the good practices. Sometimes we chase the target, but not implement good practices, so we actually miss the targets as such. In this workshop, you will encounter many different scenarios where good practices are present and are absent, and you will be requested to make your own evaluation of these scenarios. It's really meant to help you identify similar scenarios within your administrations and see what you want to do with them. TADAT, in the past 8 years, 119 assessments. It is robust, internationally recognized, and many agencies, formally or informally, are using the methodology for internal performance management. For example, Kenya has a dedicated person who is responsible for TADAT on a full-time basis. Rwanda and Uganda are also other examples where TADAT is embedded within the structural fabric. I just want to focus on a couple of perspectives, and please keep these in mind throughout the workshop, as well as in your day-to-day work. Some of us who have lived, slept, TADAT, when I see a situation, a practical situation, which is non-TADAT related, it takes me back to the 9 performance outcome areas, which we'll encounter. And I usually tell people, oh, this is POA 2 or POA 5 or POA 7. The first thing is that TADAT is a product of international collaboration. It was not just a creation of the IMF and its partners. So tax administrators, experts, civil society, and the broader tax community were consulted during its development. Secondly, TADAT keeps up with the times. I mean, for example, we are now examining the issue of gender in tax administration and how it can be measured. And 2 perspectives are coming out very strongly. One is composition of the workforce from a gender perspective, and then gender aspects in compliance management. So those are areas that we're looking at and keeping up with the times. And of course, it has been said, please use the TADAT framework. It is free. Embed it in your own performance measurement systems. It will help you. At the moment, we are working on TADAT dashboard with a private sector firm, Bearing Point Caribbean, and it's actually very exciting. They've demonstrated it in Kenya and also in Tanzania, if I recall. Now, you look at the performance outcome areas from 1 to 9 and think that they are silos. No, they're linked. At the moment, together with a wider TADAT community team, some of whom are actually present within this workshop, we're using the artificial intelligence branch of machine learning to identify and concretize associations between the various dimensions of activities in the tax administration. Preliminary results are extremely encouraging. They're robust, and they have raised questions on how we actually running the tax administrations and the tax regimes themselves. In another month or so, you will see this particular product. We've been working on it for some time, and we are using machine learning. And what machine learning is helping us do is identify those particular areas that we were not aware of. I was in Canada and was conducting a similar workshop, and the middle management and senior management confessed that they're working better in silos rather than collaboratively across the tax administrations. And that was insightful. In fact, one particular person said, once I complete my work, I don't care what happens in other places. That was myopic in a sense, but they recognized that they needed to know what is happening in the other places. And more importantly, supporting each other, not competing with each other. I know all of us want to do well, so want to be better than the person next door. But if we work collaboratively, we can pool our ideas. And that is what the machine learning aspect of the TADAT results is coming up with. And for me, it's a game changer. It's a huge game changer. Now, again, we have come together as a group, diverse countries, diverse tax administrations, diverse cultures. Please let us not reinvent the wheel, because out there, any one of you may have encountered an issue and found a solution. Let us share, because I see, silos in, oh, I want this particular system, and even in the same country, and we go shopping for these systems when there are things we can use together and collaborate. Also, we talked about training and continuing the process of training. We are going to gamify TADAT. So those of you who know Monopoly, Snakes and Ladders, and so on, we are going to do something similar, and to help people on their day-to-day thinking and how to implement. There will be roadblocks and things like that, and you'll be subjected, or many of the TADAT committee will be subjected to some of these issues so that they can think through what they're doing. Of course, I cannot avoid mentioning that those of you who are willing and able, at the end of the workshop, you will be examined, and it's for those who are willing and able. It's open book, but as the representative of UNCDF in Somalia said, it takes effort. Please put in some effort. It's not a walk in the park. I wish you very happy deliberations, a very good workshop, and we have an excellent team of facilitators. I'll also be joining in from time to time to share the experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zake, and I'm looking forward to the gamifying of the TADAT. So that sounds very interesting, and I think it will be very useful for our revenue administrations as well. And now I know that we are running a bit late, but I would like to invite Mrs. Varsha Singh from the African Tax Administration Forum and my colleague to do the official opening of the training. Mrs. Varsha Singh, you are welcome to take the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Samira, and a very good morning to the Commissioner General's distinguished guests, IMF TADAT Secretariat, ATAF Secretariat, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the ATAF Secretariat, I'd like to wish all of you a successful 2022. ATAF is really excited to be part of this initiative, which includes several of our member countries. We've been actively involved in the provision of technical assistance in the area of both international and domestic taxation to Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania over the last decade, and Somalia recently in 2021. ATAF's collaboration with the TADAT Secretariat to jointly work together to improve tax administrations on the African continent has grown significantly over the last few years. And ATAF has participated and led several of the TADAT assessments and trainings on the continent. And definitely, as many of the speakers have indicated, and as Justin has said, this has had significant impact in the technical assistance that we have provided. And we are certainly looking forward to the new developments mentioned by Justin on the TADAT tool. Your participation, and especially in availing your senior management to participate in this TADAT training, is a reflection of your commitment to build efficient and effective tax administrations. We have heard the stats on tax to GDP. We've heard about the challenges that you are facing in revenue collection. And so domestic resource mobilization remains critical for us and for our tax administrations in building our states. Leadership involves both making sound decisions, creating and articulating a clear vision, establishing achievable goals, and providing subordinates with the knowledge and tools necessary to achieve these goals. And to be effectively achieve the senior management needs for a good understanding of how the business works and how we can achieve this through good, effective oversight by taking and using tactical steps as portrayed and as provided in the TADAT, so that you can continuously assess the work that you are doing. We've spoken a lot about TADAT. Justin has mentioned about the performance and how you should use it, the what and the why of the assessment, the report and how it should be done. We've also heard that, TADAT and the outcomes should be used for sustainable development in tax administrations and should be a continued assessment and continued review of the work that we are doing. And I think that this is one of the biggest advantages of having this TADAT training prior to actual assessments that you undertake in your administrations, so that you can look at this and look at the good practice that is coming out of tax development and to be able to adequately prepare your tax administrations for the assessments, but also as you have the assessments to review this. The TADAT training for senior management is a crucial step in equipping our leadership with the knowledge to implement international best practices within African tax administrations. And I think this is especially true from what we've seen since March 2020 and what we as the world and as Africa are still experiencing with respect to COVID-19. We have heard from all the tax administrations participating in terms of the different focus areas. We've heard about, the different, the 9 areas of TADAT, the tool that you would be able to assess your administrations on. So I think this is critical in terms of how we would go forward as tax administrations and look at these areas that we need to equip and to develop further for our administrations. I want to encourage you to seize this opportunity and to fully immerse yourself in the exciting upcoming training over the next 2 weeks. The steering committee has put together a very experienced team of trainers, and I have no doubt that the training will be very beneficial to you and your administrations. As the former Secretary General of the UN said, we have to take ownership and leadership of tomorrow. For that to be possible, we have to strengthen our capacity and widen our vision. And I think that this training is a step in that direction. And as Margaret and Joel had indicated, it all starts with leadership, and we need to lead by example. I would like to, and it gives me great pleasure to declare this TADAT training for senior management officials officially open, and to wish you well. And I look forward to hearing about the outcomes at the end of this training. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Varsha. And with that, I would like to then invite all the participants to now start with the official training sessions. Thank you very much, Varsha, and those words were very insightful. I really liked the saying that you mentioned, that was mentioned by the UN, and it's very true. Leadership is required to be able to implement the changes